United manager Dave Bassette was determined to have an early Christmas this year. So much so that the trimmings were going up at the lane in August. But Dave had good reason for beginning the festivities earlier.
Well, Christmas is here early, and hopefully that will carry over and affect the players in their thinking when they start the season on Saturday. Perhaps they think we've gone into the Christmas period and the results are normally good after Christmas, and we'll get off to a good start.
A good time was had by all, players and fans alike, and Dave certainly knew what he wanted for Christmas.
Well, for a start, beating Manchester United, then the results away at Liverpool and QPR, and we'll say what a good Christmas, and Christmas has come early. Well, we hope to consolidate our place in the Premier League as it is now, and hopefully if we can improve on the positions we've done the last couple of years, have a good all-round season and do well in the Cups. You aim for the top. You don't know where you're going to end up, but the important factor is for us to consolidate ourselves as a regular Premier League side.
The pre-season photo call only revealed one new signing for the Blades, goalkeeper Alan Kelly, signed from Blackpool to replace Mel Rees, who was tragically diagnosed to have cancer, but is hoped to recover fully and play again in the future. Before the start of the season, Brian Deane, rated at £3 million, pledged his future to the club by signing a new 2-year deal, and was of course hoping to press his claim for an England place, with a good performance in the first game of the season, at home to Manchester United.
High hopes for the Blades at the start of the first ever Premier League season, and a chance to test themselves against strong Manchester United, front-runners for so long in the old First Division last season. There's Hughes in a tussle with Gannon, Mike Lake lending him a hand. Look at the Santa Claus in the crowd. Well, festive spirit at Bramall Lane, and we're in August. Quite unbelievable. Christmas party, what a spirit it is here at Bramall Lane this afternoon. Beautiful bright sunshine, Kevin Gage in there. It'll drop for John Gannon. Charge down there by Ken Chelskis. It'll run back for Beasley. There's the back pass. Tracy will have to be careful of the new rule. Drills it forward. Flick on by Cork. Dean's chasing through. Put into touch by Gary Pallister. Bright start by the Blades. First ever goal. Simon Tracy, goal kick, down the line, flicked on, Dean's chasing through again, and the finish is perfect, but it won't matter. He was just a fraction offside, but this fella's made a great start to the season already, and what a handful the man is. Tracy finds Gage, he's going to have to be careful. Strong challenge indeed coming in from Hughes there. Bradshaw flicking that ball on, Dean turns beautifully. Wonderful skills by Dean, he's in the box. And Pallister doing just enough there for the advancing Schmeichel. United sporting their new red and white jerseys this afternoon. Tracy's goal kick, well, perhaps a bit more time there for United, but failing to cash in, and ball coming forward there. Manchester United in their trained strip of blue just haven't really got going. Here's Barnes. David Barnes tearing away down the left. Tries to find Dean. Dean gets a throw for the Blades. Hodges will leave it for that man Barnes. Another throw for United. In it comes from Barnes, near stick, headed clear. It'll drop for Hodges. Good left foot cross in there, causing problems is Cork. But again, Steve Bruce on this occasion, just doing enough. Andrei Kanchelskis, Russian international. Here he is now, takes the ball on his chest, shows good composure, finds Irwin. That's going nowhere. Here's Dean again. Now Hodges. Support from Dean. Wonderful power, great strength. And a terrific cross, and it's headed behind for another corner. It's all Sheffield United. Corner coming to the edge. Gage puts in a ball. And again it's behind for another spot corner kick. Mike Phelan, the substitute, throwing caution to the wind. Gannon flicked on beautifully, and Schmeichel had to be so alert. Caught there at the near post, and just nobody for the final touch. Leclerc, Phelan, Kanchelskis. There's Borland. Comes back in again, and that's problems for United. The goal disallowed. And Ryan Giggs it was who put the ball in. Tracy. Cork again in space. Flick towards Dean, and the back header's a dreadful mistake, and Schmeichel, my goodness me. Well, he's not happy with that treatment by Pallister. Might have a word with him at full time about that. Alex Ferguson, a worried man. He's got Dion Dublin on the bench there, the new £1 million striker. Mike Lake, running well on the edge of the box. Gets to the byline. He's got support in the form of Kevin Gage. It is now. Gage has worked that pretty well between them into the near post, and Dean again the man in the danger zone, but on this occasion goal kick Manchester United. There's Irwin through the midfield there, but real hospital ball, and Phelan in the end having to get a free kick to get out of danger at the hands of Hodges. Kanchelskis down the line, but it's not happening for Manchester United. There's John Gannon, industrious as ever. Good ball down the line, and Cork could be through here. Alan Cork chasing at the defenders, and tackle from behind. Penalty given. The Blades have got a spot kick, and it's that man Alan Cork who's earned it for United. Pallister's not happy with the decision. There's Gannon's ball, drilled it forward. Bruce missed it, and Cork was temporarily clear. Pallister came in from behind, and there it is. Well, penalty given, and it will be Brian Dean who will take the spot kick. United don't get too many penalties, and it could be Dean's chance of a second goal here. The Sheffield United striker, Peter Schmeichel, who saved his fair share of penalties in the European Championships, and a man capable of making the vital save at the vital time. Well, he's got to do it here, or else Manchester United are in real trouble on the opening day. Dean against Schmeichel, no problems for Brian Dean. Comfortable side foot into the bottom corner, and he's sent the Blades fans into ecstasy. 2 goals for Dean, 2 for United. And Manchester United heading for defeat on the opening day. Carl Bradshaw, Sheffield born and bred, complete United fan. Meanwhile, McCleary's got a bit of work to do, and getting in behind him is Mark Hughes, and a goal back for Manchester United. Dave Bassette comes down from the director's box. Well, the Sheffield United manager with a bit of thinking to do now. New lease of life for Manchester United. Hughes again tearing through, but that'll go into touch, and it will be a Sheffield United goal kick. There's the final whistle.
2 goals for Brian Dean, and a piece of history made at Bramall Lane. Brian's goal after 5 minutes being the first to be scored in the new Premier League.
Coming into a new season, you always feel, can I get on the score sheet? And I always felt, that I could score. I scored against Man United before. Like Brad's put a throw across, and I think one of their players headed it on, and Gary Pallister was caught flat-footed, and I just managed to nick in between him and score. It crossed my mind that it might have been, the first goal of the season, but I didn't realise till afterwards, obviously that was going to be the first goal in the Premier League. So, obviously people were saying, oh, you've made history. And, then I thought, well, it would have been nice to have scored the first hat-trick in the Premier League. I mean, obviously I got 2 on the first day, and looking back I was thinking, well, that would have been nice, but, it didn't happen. It was a long ball through, and I think I went to get a touch to it, and, it went past me and Steve Bruce, and Alan Court ran onto it, and Gary Pallister brought him down. And, we hadn't had a penalty all the season before, and I thought to myself, well, why not? I just scored and I was feeling good. Why not? And, I took it, sent him the wrong way, tried a bit of gamesmanship, but, it didn't bother me.
United scared the life out of Liverpool and had taken the game by the scruff of the neck before Dean put the Blades 1 goal ahead in the 37th minute. David Burrows was caught in 2 minds when Dean suddenly pounced, whipped the ball off his foot and hit an unstoppable drive past the despairing hand of David James. It was no more than United deserved, but in the 43rd minute Liverpool got back into the game when Whelan found Walters and the winger blasted home. Liverpool's winning goal came in the 66th minute when Paul Stewart, in his Anfield debut, raced onto a Dean Saunders through ball and fired home.
The second game at Liverpool, we started off very well. We made a couple of changes, and we did frighten Liverpool for long periods, and we had a lot of corners, a lot of pressure, went deservedly 1 up. But the turning point, in my opinion, was when Liverpool equalised through Mark Walters just before half-time. That affected the morale of the team. It shouldn't have done. And in the second half, we allowed Liverpool to take control. And so I was disappointed with our second half performance, because I felt that we were more than capable of getting a draw or a victory at Liverpool before the game.
Coming away from that game, I was disappointed that we didn't win, because I felt we had a lot of the play early on and we should have taken more of our chances. But like I keep saying to everybody, it's always nice to get on the score sheet, which is, obviously a priority as a forward. Brad's played a little ball over the top of him, and with the new back pass law, I think he hesitated a little, and it allowed me enough time to get in front of him. Bobbled up a bit, and I just shot as it came off the ground, sort of like a volley. And I didn't realise that it had gone in until obviously I saw the people cheering behind, because it seemed to go through his hands. But I'm not complaining.
Brian still managed to keep up his goal-a-game record away to QPR in a game that promised goals from the beginning, and how it lived up to expectations with 2 crackers in the opening 4 minutes. Rangers winger Les Ferdinand gan the goal glut, weaving his way through the middle before rifling in a shot. The Rangers fans were still celebrating when United hit back in devastating style a minute later. Darren Peacock misjudged John Gannon's free kick, and the ball fell invitingly to Alan Cork, who thumped in the equaliser. Unfortunately, only 9 minutes later Simon Barker headed Rangers' second. Ironically, Dean missed what looked like a sitter, shooting wide with the goal at his mercy after latching onto a Paul Beasley through ball, but he made no mistake on the hour, rising superbly to power in a far post header from Mike Lake's corner. This looked like giving us a share of the spoils, until Dennis Bailey scrambled in a close-range effort 7 minutes from time.
I felt we were playing really well early season, and we went down there, and they scored early, a great goal by Les Ferdinand. And I had a chance, which was later described as a sitter, but it wasn't actually. I was coming in on an angle, and I got it over Stayskill, but it just went wide of the post. So obviously I was disappointed, but I thought to myself, well, there's going to be more chances, especially the way we'd been playing. And Lakey put across a great corner, and I hung in the air for a little while and managed to connect with it down in the corner. That made it 2-2.
QPR was our third league game of the week, and we'd had a hard start, and we played very well. It was an extremely entertaining game. Again, we made a couple of errors that allowed QPR to take the lead, but we came back, and when we equalised and made it 2-2, I felt that Sheffield United were going to be the only winners in this particular game. Our attitude was right, and the Czech goalkeeper for QPR made some excellent stops, but unfortunately for us, a rather fluke goal from a free kick which resulted on the ball hitting Alan Cork on the shoulder and arm sort of bounced fortuitously for the QPR player Dennis Bailey to score the winner, which I thought was a slightly unjust result. I felt that had we come out of that first week with 5 points, that would have been a fair reflection, but unfortunately we came out with 3 points.
With 3 points from the first 3 games, the next challenge was Wimbledon, a team that Dave had never managed to beat since coming to the Lane.
The shot will come in, it comes wide to Dean. Ryan Dean gets the shot in, and Sagers, did he get a touch of that? It was certainly onto the crossbar from Ryan Dean's shot. Ryan Dean it was who had the final effort from a nice move by United. It's as if Barton will have a crack from about 22 yards, just outside the D. Barton it is. 1-0 it is. Warren Barton has slotted it home for the Dons. It's a throw to Sheffield United, which Bryson takes. It's brought under control by Hartfield. Headed away by McAllister. But Sheffield United still looking to keep the pressure on. Robbie Earle back there doing defending work. He's put it out of play. It'll be a throw-in to Sheffield United as they look for this equaliser to Warren Barton's free kick. Long throw-in. Headed away, but not convincingly so. The strike comes in from Beasley. Paul Beasley has equalised for Sheffield United. What a wonderful effort it was as well. Tracy takes the long goal kick. Alan Cork is looking to get something moving here. There's a chance here for Hodges. It was Hodges who got the shot in, and it was Hans Sagers who did well with a one-handed save. Forward. Alan Cork will try to get on the end of this. He's faced by Dean Blackwell. Blackwell's clearance is gone a long way up in the air, but he's cleared the danger for the moment, but it's gone out for a Sheffield United throw-in, which is quickly taken, but there's a slight clash there. A couple of players clashing, and it looks as if it's a Sheffield United free kick, in fact. Obviously obstruction there against the Wimbledon defender, which I think was Blackwell. Bryson is standing over it. So is Hodges. But not sure who's going to take it as yet. It's lofted into the box. It's there! It's there, and I think that's gone straight in from the free kick. I think Glyn Hodges, who took the free kick, I don't think anybody else got a touch of that. Yes, the players are going over to congratulate him, and Glyn Hodges it was, whose free kick went straight into the net. Bryson there congratulating him. Let's see that again. The free kick from Hodges, yes, didn't get a touch from anybody. Evaded the Wimbledon defence and into the net past the despairing Sagers. It's United 2, Wimbledon 1. Hodges with the free kick. The header there from Dean just over the crossbar. It's Holdsworth trying to get on the end of that, but he couldn't make contact. Paul Miller wrestling forward, brings it back for Holdsworth. Holdsworth with the cross. It's gone in! It's gone in from Dean Holdsworth from the cross. That's unbelievable. Now, if he intended that, well, that is one of the great goals, but I'm not convinced he did, to be honest, but Dean Holdsworth has tied it up at 2 each here.
So the point shared, and Harry's Wimbledon hoodoo still has to be laid to rest in the future.
Well, the fourth game was against Wimbledon, and a team that I haven't beaten since I've been at Sheffield United. I achieved that when I was at Watford, and I felt that we were capable of winning this game, and we found it difficult playing against them in the first half, and Wimbledon scored from a free kick and went one up. But then after half-time, we played extremely well, got in the driving seat to be 2-1 up, and looked like making the score 3 or 4-1. And Wimbledon were able to equalise with what I call a fluke goal. Dean Holdsworth went to cross the ball, he's mishit it, it's hit the far post and ended up getting our net. effect, making the score 2-2. And we seemed to lose our confidence after that moment. And I think that confidence of not winning that particular game affected us for the Aston Villa game. We certainly didn't look like the normal Sheffield United team that took the field against Villa, but they were luckily enough in a position to score after 4 minutes, which gave them the confidence to go on, because they hadn't won at Bramall Lane for a long time, and they got a second goal near the end, which meant that we'd lost, and we'd had 2 home games and only got 1 point. And we then found ourselves going to Tottenham and Middlesbrough. Again, at Tottenham we started convincingly without really believing in ourselves, and then fell away to a goal just before half-time, which sort of had a comedy attached to it, and then conceded one within a minute of the second half starting, and we were 2-0 down, but still contrived to miss 1 or 2 opportunities. Another game was lost. We went to Middlesbrough with pressure on, battled hard, but again paid the penalty of conceding 2 goals that were dubious in offside terms, but that was down to our own play. So we came out of a week really with no points, and obviously the morale was a little bit low at that time, because we had anticipated having more points in the bank than 4 points at that stage.
You know, if we've had a bad spell, he's taken us away somewhere, taken us out for a meal. And also another thing we do is we go karting now and again, a place called Tracks. And, you know, it gets the team spirit back up, and it really helps us, you know, with each other, you know, to sort of like build the camaraderie back up. And, you know, it's interesting because for days like afterwards in the changing rooms, everybody's coming up and they're saying, what about that incident? Or, you know, saying somebody's mad like Charlie Arfield or Dane.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome to Tracks Cardio. My name's Paul Forster. I'm the manager of the centre. I'm running the session for you this afternoon, which basically means if you have any problems, I'm the one you need to come and see. If at any time during the course of the meeting you feel you've been fairly adjudicated against, obviously you're welcome to come upstairs and discuss it. The more loose change you have in the pocket at the time, the more chance you've got of getting off the offence.
We've done it before and the boys thoroughly enjoy it, and it's an enjoyable afternoon. I enjoy it thoroughly, and we got some good racers as you saw today, and also you got some poor ones like Charlie Hartfield who seem to prefer ploughing through the tyres.
The spirit and morale were high when Liverpool came to the Lane to meet a confident United team, eager to avenge the defeat at Anfield.
Throw in Harkness, short for Walters. They've worked that pretty well. It's another throw. Hugging the corner flag, Harkness again. Right in front of the travelling Liverpool faithful. Harkness towards the near post, flicked on, danger here, and almost an own goal there. Flying header from Tom Cowan. Good save, Tracy. Long kick, flicked on by Dean. Littlejohn's there. Oh yes, Littlejohn. Terrific finish, and United are ahead. And isn't he pleased about that? And the fans in jubilation. Dean and Littlejohn, potent strike force. And there had come much more priceless, a goal against Liverpool. Free kick for the men in green. It's hit first time by Walters, great save, Tracy. Back in again by Harkness. Trouble here and behind by Tom Cowan. But Simon Tracy saving brilliantly from a great strike by Walters. Tracy forward again. Mark Wright this time getting the better of Dean. Rodgers though, back over the top. Bradshaw takes it nicely on the chest. First time shot. Good effort. And James had to be alert. Kevin Gage. Rodgers tackled from behind. Coolly played by Whelan, out for that man Walters. Walters shadowed by Gage onto his right foot. Whelan again. Strokes it around beautifully, Whelan, but that not the best of passes. Sheffield United have possession. John Gannon finds Rodgers. Rodgers, nice ball into the channel for Dean to chase. It'll go for a throw-in for the Blades. Here comes Bradshaw. Drops a short one for Gage. In comes a useful looking cross, and Dane Whitehouse was almost poaching at the far stick there. Liverpool lucky to survive again. Here's Redknapp. Well, they're hanging off him a little bit. Redknapp will play that one in. And Liverpool having a fair crack at the whip here. Stewart with a shot. And Tracy again. Low to his left this time. Another great piece of goalkeeping. Whitehouse has found space. Plays a lovely little ball to Littlejohn. Loses his footing a little bit. Nice little shoulder charge there though, and he's back up. And great ball. And almost a second for Carl Bradshaw. Cowan. Cultured pass. Bradshaw helps it on beautifully. Littlejohn. Great ball in. And James fisting it clear. Still in there is Bryson toiling away. Rodgers. Gage. Again Gage. Good play United. Bryson. Gage has continued his run. It comes in long. Mark Wright the header away.
Well, we had a period where we felt that we were playing Liverpool again for the second time in sort of a short space of time, and we went out against Liverpool. The attitude was right, the players' commitment was excellent. Ady Littlejohn got an early goal for us, and again I felt that we deservedly won this game 1-0.
Well, yeah, it was a bit of a dream goal. Well, Simon Tracy got a big kick on it, then I got a great flick, and I've just finished off with a nice little flick, seeing David James off his line.
A dream goal indeed for Adrian Littlejohn, and yet again Dave Bassette shows his ability as a manager to get the best from players who've been underrated by other clubs.
Oh yeah, well I had a bit of a nightmare in the second season at Walsall. I was mainly sub, got a few appearances. I was playing like left midfield, come stroke defender more or less. Not getting much chances up front, more in defending like, yeah. And Jeff asked me to come down here like on trial, and the rest taken off from there.
Well, Ady Littlejohn had earned a 2-year contract last season. He had made progress and played 1 or 2 games. He found himself suspended for the first 2 games, was then substitute, and he's managed to sort of force himself into the team by this stage, and obviously it was a great start for him to sort of progress even further.
I always had faith in my ability, what I could do, and it's just a matter of being given the chance, and I've been given the chance, and I'm willing to show what I can do.
The Blades were just a few minutes away from a special victory over visitors Arsenal in a game where we were always in control over an unimaginative Gunners side.
Alan Kelly, £150,000 from Preston, huge kick. Arsenal struggling to defend it. Cumbersome defending there by the Gunners. But Winterburn hacking it clear, a man that Dave Bassette knows all about. Of course, had him at Wimbledon. Gage. Left foot ball. Poor defending by Dixon, and Whitehouse is away via Littlejohn. Littlejohn's back in the danger zone, and so is Dean. And Seaman knocking it away with his feet. Gannon, nice little shimmy. He's gone round two. Good cross. Bradshaw's in there, and Arsenal wavering at the back a little bit. Beasley over the top. Bradshaw stands his ground. Winterburn finds his tackle well, but it's right in front of the Kop here at Bramall Lane. Bradshaw, short throw for Kevin Gage. Turns back onto his right foot. Tackle comes in, not a good one. Gage tries a left foot shot. Great save, Seaman. Terrific effort by Kevin Gage. Seaman, of course, a Rotherham lad. Here's Merson, dispossessed by Rodgers. Dean gets a flick. Littlejohn and Whitehouse rather getting in each other's way, but there's Dean, and side netting. Whitehouse picked him out a treat. The run was good, the finish just not there. Merson. Good play, Gage. Beautiful interception. Dean rides a tackle there from Bold. Rodgers picks up all the bits and pieces, doesn't he? Bradshaw, who switched with Whitehouse to the left. Good strong running there by Bradshaw. And the linesman feeling that he deserves a free kick. Gannon, real dead ball specialist. Bradshaw's with him. Will be Bradshaw, curls it in low, flick came from Rodgers. And Seaman straight into his midriff, but it's all United. Paul Beasley. Left foots it forward, flicked down by Dean towards Littlejohn. And again, Arsenal scampering and scurrying to clear the danger. Paul Merson, will he run that into touch? Referee waves play on. Rodgers takes the order, finds Littlejohn. Littlejohn's really bombing all over the place. Great run by him. Beautiful pullback, but just not far enough. Good play again, Littlejohn. Isn't he linking up well with Dean? Well, Arsenal looking a little bit stale, to say the least. There's Littlejohn again, no handball. Sidesteps Winterburn, in comes a good ball, flicked on there, and there's Dane Whitehouse. 1-0 Sheffield United. Wonderful move, instinctive finishing, Dane Whitehouse. Arsenal, bit of a flurry here. We're into the last five, in comes a ball there. United struggling, and Ian Wright's at the far post. 1-1. Ian Wright celebrating the goal that will get a point for Arsenal, surely. And they're still coming forward. Dixon. But that's the final whistle. A goal right at the deck. Pulls it back level.
Eddie with a lovely piece of skill out wide. Little crossing, and I managed to get in front of Steve Bold with a little touch. And Dane followed up that with a great sort of like strike, you know, in above Seaman's head. And Dane has been renowned, you know, for the back end of last season and the beginning of this season for getting in on the back post, you know, and making chances like that count.
Against Arsenal, it was my second game back, so I really like trying to do well because, I mean, my fitness-wise, I wasn't up to scratch, and I think it were crossed by Adrian Littlejohn and Deansy headed it on, and I was just there again. I mean, running in by sick and just managed to put it in there.
The first half was very, very even, Stevens. There was very little to pick between the two sides, and it was very, very tight, as you know what's going to happen in playing Arsenal. But the second half, I felt that we took control. Dane Whitehouse, who had returned to the team, scored an excellent goal for us, and I saw that there was no danger. But with a few minutes to go, or 8 minutes or so to go, Arsenal were able to get back into the game, and that was disappointing because really they hadn't deserved to get back in the game. But we made an error in defence where we lacked concentration, and Ian Wright managed to get an equaliser for Arsenal, and I know Arsenal were more than happy to go home with a point on this occasion, so I felt that was a game where 2 points were lost.
The next game for the home fans against Southampton had been preceded by a defeat in the first leg of the Coca-Cola Cup at Bristol City and a disappointing 0-0 draw at Ipswich, making a home victory vital.
Brian Dean, free on the right. Tackle comes in, the drop for Gage, good ball in. Keeper Flowers fisting it away, and it's come straight back for Gage. Corner. John Gannon. Good ball in, the keeper's messing around and Whitehouse punishes him for it. Terrific volley, fearsome finishing. Dane Whitehouse. Gannon. Good play, Gage. Fine pass, Whitehouse now, the scorer. Always a threat. Gannon. Cowan. Gannon in towards Little John. Might drop for Dean, but Flowers is there. In fact, he's given obstruction, and it'll be a Sheffield United free kick. Now look at this. Well, Gannon, Dean and Gage, I think, are the favourites here. Gannon with a touch, there's Dean! Charged, well, how did it stay out? Little John was in there. Bradshaw, good interception. Southampton just threatening to build up there. That ball's charged down brilliantly by Bradshaw. Littlejohn's free. Oh, composed finishing. Adrian Littlejohn hits the score sheet again, and this time it's a quality finish. Congratulated by Brian Dean, top marksman, and Dane Whitehouse, the scorer of the first. Alan Kelly. Left foot goal kick, flicked on by Dean, rather reaching for that one, but Ken Moncau, again rather slow and deliberate for the pacey Little John. It's another corner for the Blades. John Gannon to the edge, here's Gage. Gannon again, left foot ball in, it's curling well. And in the end, perhaps, Whitehouse just the wrong man for that. Little John rides the tackle, Dean's free. Oh, off the post. Brian Dean did everything right and just saw the ball rattle the woodwork. Bradshaw turns well, forces another corner for Sheffield United. Again it's dangerous, and again Dean's hit the post. Well, terrible luck for Brian Dean. But it's another corner kick. Little John. Nice little feedback for Gannon. Shot coming in from Whitehouse, but perhaps on his wrong foot there. There's the whistle. Sheffield United 2, Southampton 0.
Southampton were second best all afternoon, but for a bit of luck, Brian Deane could easily have had a hat-trick.
I was very surprised at how Southampton came into the game. They just seemed to give up, which isn't a bad thing for us. There were plenty of chances. Myself, I had a couple of chances. I hit the post and I hit the bar, and it was getting to the stage where I was thinking, well, when's the next one going to go in? And it's been a little bit like that. I've hit the post or the bar now about 6-7 times, and if it's only a couple of inches width, if it had been the other side, I'd have had like 13-14 goals, and I might have been in the England squad.
Against Southampton it happened again. I just come running in a back stick and ball just dropped down to me and I just put it in there. That's what I'm there to do.
Southampton game, I enjoyed that one because I seen the keeper coming out, rushing out, and I just slid it in beside him.
After that Southampton win, Bristol City were the next visitors to the Lane for the second round of the Coca-Cola Cup. A 2-1 deficit was disappointing for the manager.
We found ourselves in a situation where we had to overcome a deficit, having lost 2-1 at Bristol City. I didn't see the game myself. I was abroad scouting, looking for players, and I was disappointed that we'd lost 2-1 at Bristol. I understand that we had chances to win that game, but we found ourselves in a position where we had to come from behind.
Paul Rodgers hooking that one on for Deane. Throw in United. Rodgers again in position. Great motor, good ball in, and the keeper's made a complete hash of that. And Dane Whitehouse on the end of it. 1-0 to the Blades, and level on aggregate. Fearsome throw from Cowan. He's gained 20 yards there. There's Bradshaw. Controls it well, in comes a nice cross. Deane with a header. Terrific save. Came off the head of Gannon. Gale struggling. Cole, is he onside? Well, late flag, but it came. Gale from the free kick. High into the Bramall Lane night sky. Rodgers with a header on for Bradshaw. Back for Paul Rodgers again. Tough tackle there. And here come Bristol City. Good run on the flank there. Fine play. In comes a ball. And United rather chasing shadows, and Andy Cole has scored a terrific header. Well, a goal worthy of pulling them back on level terms against anybody. Bristol just with a bit of confidence now. Paul Rodgers knocking that one over Whitehouse. Back again though. Cowan's going to have to be very alert. Cole's got a lot of pace, and that's another good ball in. Well, it's going to come back there. Another great shot and terrific save, Alan Kelly. Well, and it stuck as well. Great catch. Good goalkeeping. Beasley. Deane gets half ahead to it. Hooked back across the face of goal brilliantly. But in fact, the referee has given a goal kick. Danger here, but a very tame shot. And you don't beat Alan Kelly from that range. Paul Rodgers. Whitehouse. Gannon looking for Dean. Mitch Ward playing right back tonight. Ice cool, finds Brian Gale, the captain. Gale, that's a nice looking ball, flicked on by Dean. Bradshaw's in there. First touch lets him down, but the finish is absolute top notch. Great goal, Carl Bradshaw. He doesn't score many, but that was out of the top draw. Throw-in comes in from Cowan. Here's Whitehouse, good ball in, and Brian Dean, diving header, and rattles the woodwork. And nothing going right for the big man. Alan Kelly, good ball, finds Dean. Whitehouse. Well, it was a strong tackle, and it was a little bit late. And it's going to be a yellow card. Derek French giving Dane Whitehouse a piggyback off the field. Here's Beasley. Drills it down the line, finds Dean. Just outside the box, there's Adrian Littlejohn. Onto his favourite left foot. It's a good ball, it's deflected, but it's straight to the keeper. Gannon, Littlejohn again, so elusive, great cross this time, and Dean supplies the perfect finish. His first goal in 10 games, and it was worth the wait. Good little turn by Mitch Ward. Left foot shot, and it wasn't far away. Tom Cowan, so good in the air for a small man. Alan Cork, the substitute. Well, Bristol getting a little bit of confidence about them, and shot coming in there. Not enough to trouble Alan Kelly, though. Bradshaw. Good curling ball, Dean's free, must score, and does. Well, before tonight he'd gone 10 games without a goal. He's suddenly on a roll, can't miss. Cries of Dino from the Bramall Lane faithful. Gale, sturdy in defence. Good little back heel for Cowan. Here's Littlejohn. Another good early ball, and Dean almost got a hat-trick.
We got an early goal through Dane Whitehouse, but unfortunately, just before half-time, Dane Whitehouse received a leg injury, which resulted in him having a broken leg, which was a great shame because Dane had scored 3 goals in 5 games for us and had done tremendously well in the previous season. So this was a bit of a body blow. Bristol equalised, which meant there was pressure on us, but we managed to get a good goal through Carl Bradshaw to make it 2-1 at half-time. The team did extremely well in the second half, scored 2 excellent goals through Brian Dean, and we ended up 4-1 winners, which put us into the next round to get a home tie with Liverpool in the Coca-Cola Cup.
In the first leg, we went down there, and I think we all thought that we only had to turn up, and we realised that wasn't going to be the case when it was too late, and I think we all felt that we'd let people down who would gone all the way down to Bristol on a cold night. When we got them to Bramall Lane, it was a different story. We felt, we had a lot to do. it was probably a better position to be in, knowing that we had to go out there and win rather than being level or being up and then, any complacency creeping in then. So, we just decided to get at them, and, we did. I think we played very well. I mean, obviously they're in the new First Division now, but it was a good team performance.
Brian Dean in the Coca-Cola game could have scored a hat-trick. He hasn't seemed to have done that for a while, and it was his first goals for a while as well, so it was pleasing. The fact that we'd won 4-1 and finished convincing winners was good enough, as I say, to take us through to the next round.
A good result for the team, but the game was somewhat marred by the fact that Dane Whitehouse's leg was broken.
I felt the challenge on him was a little bit over the top, but, as a professional footballer, you never think that anybody's going to be going in to do somebody on purpose. I think if the guy knew, Brian Mitchell I think his name is, I think if he knew that was going to be the end result, he'd have pulled out of the challenge completely. There's a lot of talk about players doing each other and things like that, but when things like that happen, it just makes things sad. Dane's a big part of our plans, and we've missed his goals already. He's a great player, and he's been down at the ground, and he's talking about being back for a little bit after the new year or whatever, and he could still have a big role to play for us nearer the end of the season.
I thought it was something serious because I've never known pain like it before, and I've never broken anything, and I just felt some numbness in my leg, and I asked the physio to see what it was, and he says you might have just hit a nerve, but I tried walking on it and I just fell down to the floor, and then went into the physio room at half time, and they confirmed it that I might have fractured it. So I went up to hospital, and X-rays proved that I did. I got a ball and I took it past him, and as I went past him, he brought me down, took me trailing leg, and it was just, I don't think it was a bad tackle.
Dane's injury is one of the more serious injuries amongst the United squad, and his quick recovery to full fitness is the responsibility of the team physiotherapist, Derek French.
I mean, normally a player will tell you that he's broken his leg. They normally know. You don't have to make a diagnosis on that. He was in a lot of pain at the time, so I got him off quickly. In some cases, obviously you test to see whether the leg is stable, which it was. There was no movement or anything like that. So, obviously you think, well, he might have just got a small crack. So we got him off nice and quickly. He was seen by the orthopaedic surgeon in here. Decided to get him x-rayed because he was still in a lot of pain. And after the x-ray, they took him up to the x-ray and they didn't think there was anything wrong with him. They checked the x-ray and there it was, a crack, which has now been pinned. They now put a nail inside the bone, and he'll be back, very shortly. He's working hard now. He's able to walk, basically 4 weeks after he came out of plaster, which is very good. These days they tend to pin them because you can actually get them working again quickly. You don't lose so much muscle, and they come back in a quicker time. As I say, there's no displacement with the fracture, which is, that's the problem. If they displace, they have to line them up, and that's where you can get some problems. But obviously, with it just being pinned, it's been a good result so far. You're meant to ask the referee's position, or he's meant to, to wave you on. As I say, you're okay if the player stays down and you get to him, and you can explain to the referee, well, I'm sorry, I thought it was a serious injury. And they'd probably be okay, but as I say, if you got halfway on and then the player jumped up and ran off, I think you'd be in trouble then. And you're watching. Obviously, because you need to be trying to assess an injury before you get there. It's important for the team, whether you're going to get somebody off quickly or you're going to try and get them to stay on. I think these days you can't play with injured players. The pace of the game is such now that you can't have people carrying injuries out there, and really you've got to have 11 fit men. Obviously it depends again on how bad it is, but I think these days we tend to be a little bit more careful, and if someone, the days of someone going out on the wing and limping along have really gone.
In all football clubs, the manager and the players are the highest profile, but there's a lot of other people behind the scene. For example, Jeff Taylor, my coach, helps considerably. There's Keith Minchin with the youth development, and John Dungworth, and we have Derek French, our physio, who a lot of people don't notice other than when he runs on the pitch to treat any players, but Derek's job is to rehabilitate any injured players, and he's involved in quite a lot of time with the injured players, and he has to spend time with them, getting them fit and recovering from injury. That can be by means of treatment, it can be means of exercise, and he has to liaise with the doctors to make sure that the player gets the correct treatment.
Generally when players get injured, they're down, very down. And like Frenchie's probably the biggest comedian at the club, which helps, you know, when you're in that position. You know, if you've got a physiotherapist who you know you can't get on with, or who doesn't communicate with you, it can make things drag out a little bit more. But Frenchie's he's a good lad. He's a good lad, Frenchie.
It's easier when you haven't got many injuries. You know, that's the thing. I mean, over the last few years, we've had a lot of injuries. You know, I've had up to 20 in here at one stage this year, and you know, so far, but we've worked hard on our fitness and our flexibility. So most of the injuries we've had have all been, you know, knocks, which is a good sign for us.
A physio's job is very much involved in a lot of mundane things, such as providing players with cutting ingrown toenails, strappings for ankles, supports for arches, blisters, all sorts of things. It's not just rehabilitation work, but he is involved in a multitude of sins, and he has an important part to play in the club, and he's also got to have a sense of humour, which Derek French hasn't.
The most common injuries are bumps and bruises, really. I mean, they're the everyday kind of injury that you get. You know, the serious ones are few and far between, thankfully. So really most of the sort of everyday treatment is just sort of bumps and bruises. We use a lot of the electromedical stuff, obviously, but normally you don't use those immediately. So say normally we'd ice them down first, just to get rid of the swelling and take away some of the pain. And then you start using the electromedical stuff to actually increase blood flow and to help repair the injury. It's like an electric pulse. I mean, some of them work in different ways, but now you know the different settings you can use on them, either pain relief, or you can use them for sort of pulsing, which help to stimulate muscles. Some of them have got weak ankles. Basically, they do work to try and build them up, but they feel comfortable wearing a strap in. So obviously, you know, if they feel comfortable wearing one, you put them on. You know, a lot of people do use them, and I mean, American football, I think they tape nearly every part of their body anyway as a precaution. So we don't discourage it, although, you know, obviously in youngsters we try and keep them away from them until they actually need them. You know, some of the strappings obviously are there for cushioning, you know, to if they are boots are tight or they've got a bunion or they've got a sore foot or something, then obviously you'd use some kind of support to just take away that, you know, that area that's painful. So far I'm very pleased with what's going on. Obviously you don't know what's going to happen throughout the season. If we maintain this kind of situation that we've got at the moment, then I'll be very pleased. You know, I mean, as I say, we've had up to 10, 12 players injured and more. And this time, really, there's only 2 or 3 at a time, which makes the job a lot easier and makes it more one-on-one for the player, which is helpful for them.
Well, we found ourselves going to Chelsea, where we hadn't had an away victory all season. We'd gained a point at Ipswich, where I felt we should have gained more, and this had followed up after a 3-1 defeat at Leeds and a 0-0 draw home with Notts Forest, and I felt it was time that we got an away victory, and the attitude was right, and I felt that overall we did well, because Chelsea were in a rich vein of form. They hadn't lost for 5 or 6 games, and we deservedly won the game in the end, and it was good to see Brian Dean score a goal and 80 Little John. And the only disappointing factor was that we allowed Chelsea to get back into the game after we'd gone 1-0 up just before half time.
Stewart, away by Gage. Ward having problems with the pitch. Here's Townsend. Hall. Newton has made an excellent break again. Eddie Newton for Chelsea. For Harford, Newton shot right into the arms of Tracy, but you can see the quality in the Chelsea ranks, and really Eddie Newton was the architect of this. Hodges. Little John getting the better of Sinclair, and Little John with a terrific turn of foot, and in the end David Lee scraped it behind for the corner. But that's really what he's in the team to do, to stretch the legs and stretch the opposition. And it was very nearly a sharp, incisive break. Out comes Hitchcock. The ball is launched again towards Harford, and he's found him. Good control on the chest. Harford tries the sort of shot that we've seen from him before. I mentioned his volleying skills earlier. Townsend. Wise didn't kill the ball instantly, which is why the subsequent skirmish happened. Newton again with good body movement. Hall. Now Stewart. Townsend. Well, it's a long-range shot, and again the surface here at Stamford Bridge, almost producing something freakish. Booted forward by Lee, Flex on a run here. And he was making it difficult for Brian Gale, who was shaping to get into one of those situations that defenders dread when they're the last outfield player, and the referee starting to make an assessment as to whether it's a goal-scoring situation. It's a goal-scoring situation here for Sheffield United and for Adrian Littlejohn, and their best chance of the half has gone away. Harford has to worry ahead of Townsend about being offside. He's got back now. Sheffield United trying to hold a line to compress the play, but not really closing down on the player in possession. A bit closer now through Rodgers to Townsend, and they forced the mistake from the Chelsea captain. Hodges with the pass, cleverly waited for Littlejohn. Can he do better this time? He can! Sheffield United have taken the lead. A smash and grab raid by Adrian Littlejohn. So Chelsea, if they're going to continue this sequence of 4 straight wins and extend it to 5, they've got to come from behind now. Townsend, a chance to repair the damage straight away. He can do it himself, he has done! Within a minute. And that's made up for the mistake. And Sheffield United sat back then. Still thrilled, I'm sure, by the goal they scored. Ward. Now, can he get a deep cross in? It's well read by Sinclair. Gale's header. Now Newton beaten by Rodgers. Donaghy clears, though, up to Harford. Oh, and Stewart couldn't quite collect it. Mick Harford got a terrific goal here on the opening day of the season to win over the Chelsea fans, who were sorry to see Kerry Dixon go to Southampton. Oh, and it's Hitchcock taking the extra touch. Littlejohn's got the ball. Can Dean force it in? He can. A goalkeeping catastrophe for Chelsea, and Brian Dean, after 10 league games without a goal, is back in business.
People ask me questions, if you've won at a ground the previous year, does it help you the following year? I think it can sometimes. In the Chelsea instance, last year we had to make up for the cup disappointment where we lost, and I think the players attributed themselves well. I think in this particular occasion, the players felt that they needed an away victory. They hadn't done as well away from home as they should have done, and the games they had done quite well, they hadn't got points, so we were determined to try and get a victory.
When you're going through a lean spell, those are the kind of goals you need to pick you up a little. And, you know, rather than something from like 35 yards, you know, those are your bread and butter goals.
Hodge played a great ball through. Me and the defender went shoulder charged each other. The goalkeeper come running out and I slid it in.
Sunday, November the 8th, one of the 2 biggest games on the soccer calendar for Sheffield. Fans are arriving at Bramall Lane for the local derby against their old rivals from across the city, Sheffield Wednesday. The game is to be seen across the country too. Sky Television selected this game to be their live Sunday game. It's a fact that they won't be disappointed by the choice. The atmosphere is electric. and there's an almost carnival atmosphere at the Lane, and an old favourite for the United fans. Bob Booker gets a great reception. It's a great occasion for both teams, both sets of fans, and for the city too.
United lose the ball straight from the kickoff to a very eager Mark Bright. Forward quickly by Pearson. United have lost only one of the last 7 league games that they've played. Wednesday have not been at their best in away matches. Hurst trying to hold it up. Waddle. Certainly a footballing team selected by Trevor Francis here, with Chris Bart-Williams linking up with Waddle and in too much of a hurry and bringing himself down. Pearson the captain. Ward breaks for Gannon. Littlejohn, who had a fine game at Chelsea, scored one and made one. United's first away win of the season. Bradshaw hurls it towards Gale. It's Palmer who got up well. Dean goes with Woods, whose punch was a little on the nervy side, but in the end it was effective enough. Beasley will take the free kick. Dean will fight for it here. Pearson, the master, in the air again. Littlejohn. Ward mishits, and it comes back to Dean, and now it comes to Ward. Sheffield Wednesday struggling to get the ball out. In the end it was Roland Nielsen who got the block. Long throw from Cowan this time, and it's done really what it's designed to do, produce perhaps an even better opportunity from a corner. Gale coming in. It's gone right across the face of the goal, and it's a goal kick at the end of it. Sheridan, Bright, this is what Wednesday are good at. Took his eye off the ball. Littlejohn, Bradshaw making tracks into the middle. Dean, of course, is there. Bright, pressurising Beasley. Cowan trying to be a little too clever. Waddle. Sheridan, Bart-Williams coming up for the shot, and what a good run it was. Sheridan, Wilson playing very narrow in midfield on that left side. Waddle giving the width on the right though. Sheridan is onside, and Mark Bright was moving in with great menace. It was Beasley who slid in. Flicked on by Bart-Williams. Bright, great save, Bart-Williams from a difficult angle. And Alan Kelly keeping it at 0-0 here.
Oh, he'll be a happy man, Alan Kelly. It was 2 fine saves. But you have to say, Chris Bart-Williams should score here. It's Bart-Williams that gets the touch on there. And then David Hurst does ever so well to keep it back in the box. That's when he should score. Mark Bright it is who gets the header. And Bart-Williams comes in. You see it again. Williams gets the play. Hurst keeps it in. That should be a goal, isn't? But watches the keepers up again to get his body in the way.
Up goes Dean! Oh, against the bar! Now Littlejohn. Now Woods. And the monumental presence of Brian Dean in the middle there. Almost tilting this domestic dispute in the way of United. Ward behind.
Well, I can't believe the amount of space he ended up with, Brian Dean. The major aerial threat in this Sheffield side, and watch the space he has. He's about 5 or 6 yards from goal. Look at that, he's up. Chris Wood's totally beaten.
Worthington. Now Hurst. Trying to link up with Bright. United saw it coming. With Beasley, who leads the counter-attack himself. Littlejohn's gone to the left. Dean coming through the centre now. And trying to take it on into his stride and lose Palmer in the process. Waddle. Now Nielsen. Broken up by Beasley again. Gannon. Charged down by Cowan. And he's made something for Sheffield United here. Well, the cross was aimed for Dean. Bradshaw trying to belt it back. Get engaged quickly on the scene as well.
Well, he made it all on his own, Tom Cowan, didn't he?
And what competitive play it was down the left-hand side from the Scot, Tom Cowan. Dean. They're sensing something, the Sheffield United supporters, behind the goal that Chris Woods is defending here at this corner.
Yeah, it's a little testing period, isn't it, for Wednesday?
Cowan. Rodgers just holding there in midfield. Dean easing it on and reacting quickly as it came back to him off Nielsen. Rodgers getting into the centre. It's coming for Dean! And it's dropped behind Rodgers. Dean's offside. Well, Wednesday now feeling the strain.
Wednesday just can't get hold of it. They can't get hold of it and they can't keep it. And that's why they're having to deal with all this pressure at the moment.
Now can Dean get there first? Danny Wilson, like the good professional, the wise old head that he is. Carlton Palmer was struggling to be first to that one. Dean had stolen a yard, maybe more. But Danny Wilson was alert. A real crescendo of noise now at this corner. Woods doesn't get to it. Oh, it's gone in. Littlejohn says that he got the last touch.
Well, I'm not so sure Brian Dean will be too pleased about that. Certainly feel it did hit Adrian Littlejohn. But I think we'll see here, it's Brian Dean's towering header at the back post. And Chris Woods will wonder, should he have stayed where he was?
Oh, Littlejohn says it's mine.
And it comes. Watch Dean at the back post. Up it goes, down it goes. Yeah, Littlejohn will claim that. I think you might find it might have just sneaked wide. Had Adrian Littlejohn not got his heel in the way.
The back heel from the number 9. Danny Wilson was on the post there but couldn't stop it going in. United lead. Here's Wilson now. Oh, and very nearly a swift reply from Sheridan.
Here we see it. Let's watch this again. Just watch the little touch again. There's the header. Yes, a very definite little back heel. That was going wide. And I think we'll say it's yours.
Dean and Littlejohn has got there and put it in the side netting. But it's so straightforward when they find the right ball up to Dean and they flick his angle like this.
Well, that's what you must do. You must gamble if you're the second striker. Oh, what a strike, Martin. What an absolute top draw strike from a top striker.
Here's Dean. Corner for Sheffield United. And the referee adds on time for it to be taken. There'll be bedlam from Wednesday, I'm sure, in protest if a goal comes from here to decide it.
I can't remember a game with this much injury time.
Gage. working hard to get in his cross. Nielsen, it flicked off Bart Williams, Hodges, now Gannon. Nicely done. Wednesday wanted an offside and the flag has stayed down. Palmer using every length, every inch of the long legs there to get it behind for another corner. In from Gannon, Woods got to it. Hodges calling for this one. And it wouldn't go through the forest of legs between him and the Wednesday goal. Well, surely there's no time to dally on the taking of a throw. Wallop forward by Waddle, and it has finished all square in Sheffield.
It was definitely a big game. I didn't realise how big a game it was until, you know, you're actually on the pitch, you know. Obviously, you know, I've played in derby games before, but yeah, the atmosphere was brilliant. I mean, everybody I've talked to since has said, you know, that was the best atmosphere they've been in at a game, and our fans were magnificent, you know. I looked up into the cop and there was like a flare, you know, and the first thing that the rest of the players thought about was like in the Italian league where, you know, people have got flares in the crowd, and it looked really spectacular, it looked really good.
Players like derby games, there's a lot of excitement, but there is a lot of tension involved and a lot of pride, and sometimes the players are wound up and the game takes on a far greater significance. And I think it was important for both Wednesday and United this year after last year's results. The game had a significant importance, and the fact that it was also on Sky Television and the nation could see it added a little bit of extra spice. But I think the atmosphere created by both sets of fans helped the TV spectacle. It was an excellent game in terms, and probably at the end of the day a draw was a fair result, although I must say after having battered them in the start of the second half and gone one up, I was disappointed that we took our foot off the accelerator and didn't go looking for the second goal, because I think we could have got a second goal, but we sat back and for some unknown reason started to defend the lead instead of trying to add extra goals to it.
I think if Eddie wasn't there with his touch, it wouldn't have gone in. It might have hit Danny Wilson or hit the post, so it's just as well he was there. And you know, it was a good corner. Gailey went in front of me, and I think him and Chris Woods collided, and I just managed to get above Nigel Pearson to knock it down, you know. And then obviously Eddie got the little touch, so you know, we were quite happy at that stage.
Yeah, well, then I got the header and it was going wide. And I just got the little flick to make it more goal. Yeah, that's the first local derby. The atmosphere was phenomenal, really. It was unbelievable. It's a really great game to play in.
A great game to play in and a great game to watch, and this season's supremacy to be decided in March when we visit Hillsborough and hope to mirror last season's result. But after the excitement of the derby, the players are back to training. Their overall fitness is not in question, and Dave is happy using tried and trusted techniques.
We keep to a certain plan. I mean, there's times where we feel the players might need a boost up in terms of their passing and technique practices. It might also affect the physical side of it.
Long as the ball's in the net.
At the beginning of the week, we might do a bit of possession, 8v8, or a bit of, you know, two-touch, a game where you've got like 8 aside, 2 goalies, and you've got 2 touches, and say first 1 to 10. But later on in the week, we do a lot of work geared towards the team who we're playing against, whether it be paying special attention to certain players, which we tend to do a lot of, or, you know, ways in which we can benefit from attacking from certain areas.
I think it's an attitude of mind that to do well in the second half of the season. Possibly we've done well in the previous years because we were at the bottom and we didn't have any sort of room for manoeuvre. I'm hoping this particular year that we can continue to do well in the second half. I know that we'll be a difficult team in the second half. We will maintain our momentum, and if we can do that and we've got some points in the bag before Christmas, we might be able to even finish with a higher flourish and end up even higher than we did last year. Well, all I say to the fans is keep behind us. It's vitally important. I've said this on numerous occasions. If the fans are roaring behind us, sometimes I think they can be a bit quiet and we have to get them going instead of sometimes them getting us going. Certainly in the local derbies and 1 or 2 games, they seem to be hyped up behind the team, and that is important because if you come out and you know the fans are buzzing, I think it makes the team buzz. At the present time, we have 2 long-term injuries in Dane Whitehouse and Simon Tracy, 2 very good players. And obviously, the sooner Sheffield United get those players fit, it will make our squad stronger. Certainly, our squad is the strongest in my time at Sheffield United. I said that a year ago, and I believed it a year ago, and we're even stronger now. Obviously, I want to strengthen the squad, because if we want to get into the top 6 to 8, we have got to sort of increase the squad, and we've possibly got to go into the transfer market to buy some slightly better or extra quality players. Now, that's easier said than done, because it's easy to waste money. The transfer market is a minefield at the present time, and what I've got to make sure is I look around to find players that I think are better than what we've got and who will certainly improve the team.
Well, the training continues, but unfortunately our programme on the first part of the season ends here. But on behalf of the players, manager and staff at Sheffield United, and myself, Dave Kilner, have a very happy Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho! Happy Christmas, everybody, and in particular, success to Sheffield United.